All right, welcome everybody to this another session of Fireside Chat with sponsored by ISC² Chapter Hyderabad, and I'm Anurag Tiwari from the ISC² Hyderabad Chapter, and with me today is Supraja Prasad, another member from the ISC² Hyderabad Chapter. So, Supraja, welcome to this chat, and thanks for making time out this weekend.
Thank you, Anurag. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. So, to all those who are listening us and viewing us today, we have an interesting topic that we want to cover and deep dive into. And before we get into that, I would take the liberty to just briefly introduce Supraja, who we are chatting with today. So Supraja is an information governance and risk manager. Her role involves ensuring compliance of digital assets like mobile apps, social platforms, which are used for both educational and medical purposes. She previously worked on computer system validation, quality and project management for IT projects, specifically in the pharma domain. She previously also, overall, her experience also includes information governance, quality management, project and risk management, security and compliance, and as I said, computer system validation. She is a BTech in biotechnology from Vellore Institute of Technology and an MS in engineering management from University of Maryland, Baltimore County. And most recently, she has also completed the Chevening Cybersecurity Fellowship, and we'll talk more on that shortly. Apart from that, Supraja is also a passionate table tennis player, a marathon runner, and has participated in national and international level tournaments when it comes to table tennis. So a lot is going on in Supraja's life, and I really appreciate her being with us today and talk more about specifically the Chevening experience, and we'll talk more about it now. So before we go there, Supraja, how are you doing today?
Good, Anurag. It's a weekend and we have a marathon coming up, so uh, all geared up. And yeah, I'm happy to be here and talk more about the Chevening Fellowship. I think we have a lot of applicants who are interested this time, so I hope this will be useful for them.
Great. So this discussion we scheduled because, as Supraja said, there is a lot of interest on the Chevening Cybersecurity Fellowship program that she recently did, and the applications as we speak today. Today is 24th of August, 2024. The applications for that program for 2025 batch is currently open, right? And
Yeah.
we thought that it would be a good idea to do this discussion so that anybody who is listening and is interested in applying for it or knowing more about it can go through it as well, because it will definitely answer some of the common questions and will give you more resources for you to look into and get more prepared for it as you go along the application process itself. So just to kick it off, Supraja, what is this program about? Can you give us a brief of a general overview of what is this Chevening Cybersecurity Fellowship to begin with?
Yeah, sure, Anurag. So, the Chevening Cybersecurity Fellowship is a short-term program. It's basically a part of the India UK program, and it is sponsored by the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office, which is again a part of the UK government. So, what they do is they select around 8 to 9 people every year from different facets of cybersecurity, and it is based in UK, and we get an opportunity to go there, interact with a lot of people, and attend a lot of conferences, sessions, and things like that. And that's what the crux of the program is. It's basically a short program, a fellowship, an opportunity to be in the United Kingdom. And
Interesting.
it's applicable for Indian citizens.
Great. So is this only open for Indian citizens, or do you have people from other countries participating in this as well?
They have different programs, like they have a Japanese cybersecurity program. They have one called the Western Balkans. So it's based on the contract with that particular country.
Okay,
So what I did, it was specifically for Indians.
got it. Got it. And why should somebody really do it? Why did you do it? And based on your experience after completing it, what do you think, would be your suggestion to others on why they should do it and who should do it?
Yeah, I think when we talk about fellowships, a lot of the time it's mostly an achievement and completing a certification or something. In this, it's much more. It's like Chevening focuses on giving back to the community. I think that's a very different thing about this fellowship compared to everything else, because you have a purpose and they give you like a platform. And once you're back to your country, you have an opportunity to go ahead with what you want to do and pursue up your passion. So I think that's why Chevening is really special. And another reason is that it is very diverse. They choose people from different facets of cybersecurity. So I had never had an opportunity probably to interact with, IPS officers, army, navy professionals, and we can get a different perspective about cybersecurity once you kind of hang out with all these people, understand their perspective. You get to know the bigger role, and I think that's what makes it like really
Mm,
special. And of course, being in the United Kingdom, you get an opportunity to be a part of different sessions, visit universities which are probably not open to the general public. And you can't get an opportunity to just go and visit the computer science department of Oxford, but this is somewhere that gives you a platform to do so. So
great.
if anybody is a mid career professional, usually they look for 7+ years of experience, and they have a specific passion or purpose in mind, then I think this fellowship is definitely for them.
Hmm. Interesting. So you're saying it's the overall experience, not just the course or the
Yeah.
curriculum or the subjects that are taught, but the overall experience and the connections or the
Yeah.
network you build and the experiences you have by being there and visiting some of these monumental places. That is what makes it
Right.
more special than just the subjects or the curriculum itself, which is also pretty interesting and very contemporary, but it's all the other things that comes with it as well, right?
Yeah. So actually, they have different aspects of it. I mean, we do have like sessions in the classroom, but apart from that, there are like activities. Sometimes we used to play board games related to cybersecurity, which was very interesting. So not something that we do often. And then there'd be industrial visits where we go to companies or universities. Then we get a chance to be part of big conferences where you can hear the panel discussions or be part of some specific initiative. Like for example, I've been very interested in women in cybersecurity, and I got an opportunity to attend many events, meet a lot of mentors, spoke to them about their journey, how they were inspired, why they got into this, and why they're doing what they're doing. So this sort of exposure was something very different, and that makes it like very holistic. And the last part, which is like very integral part, is you get to research on a particular topic, and you have professors and your peers who will help you in the research, guide you. And this need not be related to what work you're doing in your organization. So that's something that you want to pursue, or probably you're not getting a chance to do that, in your
Mm.
organization. You can still pick such a topic, and at the end of the fellowship you can publish that paper. And you'll have to also present that the paper in front of the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office, which is FCDO at London, in British government. So I think that's a very unique opportunity as well.
So many things happening. How long is this program for?
This is for 10 weeks. So it's typically like 4 days we would have some sessions, and one day we are traveling to a different place, visiting somewhere. And then typically, like, 8 to 4 is what the travel would be like. And if it's classes, it would be like 10 to 4. And then they like activities. Sometimes we had like, disaster response. How would you do this? Or there's some board games where you're trying to save your company, and you're hit by a cyber attack. How would you react? Those sort of things where you'll do kind of role plays. Like, maybe you're the risk officer, cybersecurity, financial officer. How would you react from every perspective? So those sort of sessions were also included when we had the sessions at the university.
So you're saying it's 10 weeks program, and on a typical week, in a typical week, you will have classes 4 days and 1 day would be a
Right.
visit. And typically
Yeah.
10 to, what is it, 8 to 4, you're saying is
Yes.
the if you go out to the visit,
Yeah.
and then you have the rest of the day is typical classroom setting where you have all this different types of experiential learning. Great.
Yeah.
And where is this actually hosted? Like which university or college
So
do you go to?
yeah, so this is hosted by the Cranfield University, specifically at the Shrivenham campus. It's a defense campus, and it's hosted there. We had all the sessions happening there. We have different professors who visit us. Like we will be given a schedule prior to the week on who is coming, who's teaching, what is the topic, so that we are prepared. We'll have some pre-reading material as well that's given, so that we understand and we go prepared for whichever session that is
Mm.
coming up. And even if it's a visit, like if there's something particular we need to know, all the communication is sent beforehand.
And how hectic is it? Like how was it in general, business standpoint? Like was it really hectic or was it manageable
No,
or
I
was it too
wouldn't say
cramped?
hectic. It wasn't hectic. Because I only think it felt different going back to college after so long.
Mm.
But I don't believe it was hectic. It was in fact very uh, it was quite relaxed, and it was very different from everything you've done, because you're not sitting in one place. And even if you have like a coffee break, you're meeting some PhD student who's doing something, or your own cohort, like for example mine had IPS officers, people from CBI, Army, Navy, and also from private sector. We were few people, like one from fintech, me from healthcare. So like the conversation, the sort of exposure that you get is like, you don't know how time goes. It's really interesting. And at no point we felt it was hectic. In fact, weekends we were able to go to London, explore a lot of places, especially all the museums. And the program, the director was always guiding us, this is something you should not miss, and
Mm.
this is somewhere you should go while you're here. So I think it was very interesting, holistic, and it was manageable
Got it.
in terms of the schedule. Yeah.
Great. And how many people were there in your cohort, like in your class, in your batch?
So ours was 10 weeks and it was 9 Indians. And later on, after we finished the first 5 weeks, we had five Japanese who joined us. Their program was only for 5 weeks, so they joined us after we did our first 5 weeks.
Okay. Okay. Great. Great. Well, I think there are a lot of questions like that which everybody will have about specifics about where did you stay, how did you fund, what all, how did you manage day to day, let's say traveling and things like that. Um, I know we're going to talk about how we're going to address some of those common or frequently asked questions. But before we go there, in general, I think the major important question we want to cover is what is the application process? How can someone go through this? How does it work?
Yeah. So right now the application is open, and then you'll find a place where it says check your eligibility. So they'll give you a few questions that you need to answer. Basically, they're asking that are you an Indian citizen and things like that. And once you answer, you'll get whether you are eligible or not. Once it says that you're eligible, you can start your application. So the entire application process on a high level is divided into two parts. The first one is an online application which you have to fill, and the second is the interview if you get shortlisted from the online application. So for the online application, you have questions like, personal details, educational qualification, employment history. There are a few essays that you need to write about your leadership, networking abilities. If you're selected, what sort of research you want to do, what do you want to do when you come back to your country, and how would you like to contribute from what you've learned there, and things like that. So that's the crux of the essays. And then you will need some letters of reference from your mentors. That is as well as the part of the application. So once this is submitted, and once the due date is over, they will give you a specific timeline when they'll get back to you if you're shortlisted for the second round. And that is going to be an interview. And in my interview specifically, I had three officials who took the interview. It might vary based on you know, every year how it goes, but generally again the interview is sort of based on what you have written in your essays, what you want to do. I think interview from an interview perspective, it's very short. It's, I think, 20-25 minutes. So whatever you want to convey at that point of time and how you would like to convey matters a lot. And yeah, once the interview is done, then within a few days we received the list of shortlisted candidates, and we had like an onboarding session on what to do and do's and don'ts and things like that.
Got it. Got it. And this interview is virtual, right? That's what you said.
Yes, this is
Yep.
version.
Okay.
This is post COVID that it has become virtual.
Okay. Okay. Got it. And I mean, just from your experience, how much time it took you to prepare for the application round? Like how heavy is this particular round of applying for it? Like so
Mhm.
many essays you mentioned.
Right. I took 1 week because
Mm,
we are also working, and uh, I was trying to manage this before or after the work hours.
mm,
Uh, Basically, I would suggest that like being very authentic, mentioning what you are passionate about. I mean, that should clearly come out in your essay, in your interview. Being very specific, providing examples of what you've done, what you want to do. That's something that they're looking for. And one of the other things I did is I spoke to a lot of Chevening alumni. I think that gave me a very good insight about the fellowship, and I wanted to know what they did after they came back. So it was very interesting to know, like, you know, one of them had moved, like he had a similar career like me in the private sector, and then he moved to the public sector now, like looking after like policies and, you know, probably having a larger impact than one single company. So
mhm.
that was what he wanted to do. Somebody else was in journalism. One of them published a book, and you know, they are able to continue their passion, and what they wanted to do. So knowing their journeys before, after, and how Chevening helped, kind of really helped me prepare for the whole process.
Great, great. So you are paying it forward now, being the alumni now for the rest of the upcoming batches. That's good. So,
Thank you.
and I just um, because there were so many things there. I mean, from your experience so far, what is it that you will remember about this program? You know, for years together. What is those couple of things that you really take away from this program based on your experience?
I think the first thing is the people I met. It was very different from, like, because I've predominantly worked in the pharmaceutical domain, and my exposure to, be it government sector, public sector, is very less, and the sort of conversations, the sort of things were like extremely different. And even the professors who came, and who any speakers who came, I have never seen such a diverse background. So we met this person who was the CISO for London Olympics. So, like, you can think of the, like, how different. And now he was looking after some rugby match. So compliance to any level. I mean, if you're interested in cybersecurity and you want to apply to sports, he was like, you know, how you can do that.
Mm,
And there's somebody who's talking about psychology, and that actually got me interested to the human dimension of cybersecurity, which I chose as my research topic. So that is the key takeaway, that I got to know what I was really interested in. And I
mm,
found professors who actually guided me and told me what are the books to read, blogs to read, who are the big people doing research on this subject at the moment, where are the research papers available. So that sort of thing stayed with me, that I really understood what uh, I am passionate about, apart from the daily job or daily, you know, I like to help build all this patient platforms and everything. But this was something that really kind of stayed with me, and my final paper I chose, and then yeah, I hope to continue the research on this particular subject. So I think it's the people and the fact that I was able to realize what research I want to do.
Great, great. Yeah, I think that's what makes it special based on what you've said is the based on hearing from you. I think it's more about the connects or the network you build and the experience, the people you meet basically, because otherwise, if all this was done
Yeah.
online, then it may not have that
Yeah.
value that you would get if you were doing this program in person and in UK with all
Yeah.
these people applying for it and being there. I mean, do you have a sense of how many people roughly apply and how many people get selected eventually for this program?
Chevening as such has thousands of people who apply. In fact, like if you combine scholarship and fellowship, it would go up to like 80,000, 90,000. But for this specific program, we had, I think, in thousands who applied.
Out of which
And
eight are
we
selected.
had, yes, eight to
That's
nine. I mean, it depends on from year to year
yeah.
and things like that.
Okay, great, great. So I know we can continue this for a long time. There's so many questions. So why don't you share what's your plan on how you would want to communicate more about this program to any other aspirant out there who wants to think about Chevening or wants to go about applying for it? Maybe you can talk a little more about what you've penned down, your blog, or any other ideas you have on sharing this knowledge forward.
Right. So, I've been speaking to a lot of people on LinkedIn, whoever is interested in this program. But I'm also writing a blog so that it answers the basic questions like, what is chimney, when to apply, how to apply, and the names of the fellows who have already done, so that they can get in touch with them and get some more information. What I learned, what is my research paper. My research paper is also available on LinkedIn for anybody who wants to have a look. So all these things are something that will be covered in the blog. But again, if anybody has any specific questions, please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I will be more than happy to answer those.
Great. Thank you so much, Supraja. So basically, we'll have a blog published by Supraja. We will mention the blog in the description of this particular discussion. It will also be there available on other ISC2 channels like the LinkedIn and the website. And as Supraja said, feel free to reach out to her via LinkedIn if any questions after you have gone through this material as well as the blog, which should probably answer most of the common questions you'll have. Any other thoughts, Supraja, before we could wrap? I think from my discussion with you, I think it sounds like a very, I would say, a rare opportunity somebody gets to kind of have this experience, representing India, a handful of you being there in another country, being in those special, inspiring institutes and working with you know other highly caliber individuals from different areas, giving that diverse experience. I think that's the most important experience you gain by being in this program. And of course, the sessions you have and the experiential learning you have being in those classrooms with those professors, which is really valuable. I know this program changes and may change over a period of time. So whatever you are sharing here and writing down may or may not hold true, but at least it will put your experience out there in terms, I mean, which will definitely help any other individual who's aspiring for it to get an overall understanding of how things work and how to go about applying for it. With that
Yeah,
said,
absolutely. I think, as you said, these are completely my views and my experience. This probably is can change in I would suggest always going to the Chevening website and seeing the latest requirements. It's always mentioned there, and even in terms of eligibility, sponsorship, everything is mentioned there. And probably the last two things I would want to mention, which I received in terms of questions, is that do we have to take leave? Yes, you are there for 10 weeks. So just a heads up that you need to speak to your organization to be able to get a sabbatical leave, or however it works in your organization, to be there for 10 weeks in the UK. And another thing not to probably expect is something extremely technical, like learning about a language or a tool, or this is mostly a holistic experience. We did have sessions on like AI, cyber operations, cyber crime, things like that. What if you're looking for like a technical certification, then this is not something that
Mm.
I mean, again, this is what I feel. What
Yeah,
That is something to be aware of.
great. Yep, thanks for sharing that, Supraja. So I hope this helps many of us who would view this later on, and definitely thanks for stepping up and helping out all those individuals or the cybersecurity community in general to think about Chevening as a good opportunity and inspiring them to apply for it. And with that
Thank you,
said,
Anurag, and thanks to the ISC² chapter
yeah,
for having me, and they're doing some great initiatives. Thanks to you for all that.
thank you, Supraja. And on behalf of ISC2 chapter, thank you for being here. And I hope everybody have a good rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you.